People, all right, let's do this. Let's see what there is to talk about today. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. We are trying to get to 50,000 subscribers. 50,000. It's a big number. It's a big number for me anyway. I know there are people out there with millions of subscribers, but run your own race, people. Stay in your lane. And my lane right now is 50,000 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. All right, let's have a look and see what there is to talk about. Let's start with this one. Errol Spence. I know that I can break Crawford down. I know that he's not as durable as me. Okay. Not long to go, people. What is it? 18th of July today, 29th of July. We have 11 days until Errol Spence and Terence Crawford jump through those ropes. Can't believe it's happening, but it is. One of the biggest fights in recent times. This is as big as anything in the last 10 to 15 years. I mean, this is Canelo Golovkin 1. This maybe is even bigger than that. This is big. I mean, this is two unbeaten champions. I think the pound for pound #1 status is up for grabs. Whoever wins this, I think, could be pound for pound #1. I don't think many people will argue with that. Undisputed, the bragging rights. This is big. This is very big. I don't think I'm going. I did tell you guys that I was going to go. It's gone all quiet. I don't think DAZN are sending me out there. I'm going to reach out to the head of boxing and beg. But if it's a no, it's a no. It's fine. We'll do a live watch along. But I really want to be there to soak up the atmosphere because this is something special. You know what's special when no one really gives a fuck about the undercard? Pardon my French. Like, I haven't heard anyone mention anything about the undercard. And normally with these fights, people like to moan about the undercard, don't they? I'm not paying $100 for that. Who's on the undercard? I haven't heard anybody say that. It's because we only care about this one. So yeah, looking forward to it. I've been watching the Showtime All Access shows, which have been good as well. It's always nice to get those kind of behind the scenes things that we don't see. Family time, how they both train for this type of fight. I think it's intriguing. What it does though, it reminds me of how good Mayweather's 24/7s were. Like, Mayweather was so entertaining in those 24/7s, weren't he? He was fantastic. These guys don't have the Mayweather personality, but it's still intriguing nonetheless. Alicia Baumgardner eyes blockbuster fights versus Serrano, Taylor, Cameron. I'm great and getting better. It's true. She is great and she's getting better. And she could win all of those fights you just mentioned. She could beat Serrano. Could beat. I'm not saying she can. She could beat Serrano. I think she can certainly beat Katie Taylor if she were to jump up to 135. And Chantel Cameron will be an amazing fight. An amazing fight. Look, I spoke about Alicia on, I think, yesterday's video. I just think that she's become a superstar. Like, even when I think of that Clarissa Shields, Savannah Marshall fight, obviously that was the main event and all eyes are on that. But I do think that her and Michaela Mayer, Alicia and Michaela Mayer, stole the show. I think their build-up, their beef was fantastic. And I think that's one. She didn't say Michaela Mayer here, but she has to put Mayer in there. Michaela Mayer and Alicia Baumgardner will fight again. And I wouldn't be shocked if Michaela Mayer beat her. It was very, very close the first time. Shakur Stevenson, impressed with Andy Cruz. He can fight for sure. Yeah. I mean, if anyone was watching that, and I don't think you guys would have, but if anyone was watching that and maybe they thought that he isn't all that, then I don't know what to tell you. Honestly, I don't know what to tell you because he's very good. He's very, very good. And Shakur knows it. Shakur knows that he will probably have to fight Andy Cruz sometime down the line. Wouldn't be shocked if it's next year or the year after maybe. The only thing is Shakur looks very big, whereas Andy Cruz looks like he might... His skill, a bit like Loma, his skill will probably mean he can go through the weight classes, maybe even get up to 147. But ultimately, I think he's going to be outsized by a lot of people. I think he's just perfect for 135 pounds. And it will be a shame if we don't get to see him versus Shakur Stevenson. You know what's a good fight next for Andy Cruz? It's a risky one. Robson Conceição, who Shakur Stevenson fought a few months ago and Oscar Valdez fought last year. He beat Oscar Valdez. Remember, that was all the drug issue. I think that's a really good barometer to see where Andy Cruz is. Samuel Antwi versus Mason Cartwright set for British title on September 1st. I think this is at 154 pounds. I believe it is because that's where Samuel Antwi has been fighting. I did speak to him as well. He was on the card in Newcastle. He was on the card. Like, it's weird. The undercard fights that weren't televised could have easily been on the main card. Like Troy Williamson was on the undercard. It was fighting a journeyman, if you like, but it was a decent fight, and so was Samuel Antwi. But I think this is the 154-pound title that Josh Kelly has vacated. Remember, Samuel Antwi was English champion at 147 pounds. Gave Eko Usman a good fight for the British and Commonwealth titles. Lost that by a couple of rounds, but he's a good fighter. Ngannou on landing Fury payday. It's life-changing day and night to what I made in the UFC. Yeah, completely life-changing. And there will be a lot of guys in not just UFC, obviously that's the market leader, but there'll be a lot of guys in MMA that look at the money some of these fighters are making, the top wise. So I'm not just talking about the lower level, because you don't make great money in boxing the lower level. But once you get to the top level in boxing, it absolutely destroys the money that some of the MMA guys are making. Obviously, look, you're going to have the Conor McGregors and the Khabib Nurmagomedovs that make really good money. But there are boxers out there like Ryan Garcia isn't a world champion. Ryan Garcia is a good fighter. I wouldn't say he's a great fighter. The amount of money that he made for his fight against Gervonta Davis, no one in the UFC has made that since Conor. No one's even got close. And Ryan Garcia, I think if you were to do your top 40 pound for pound fighters right now, Ryan probably wouldn't make it. That's the difference between boxing and MMA. It's a massive difference in terms of what they're getting paid. I did see a few people, I think Spencer Fearon said it wouldn't shock him, paraphrasing here, could be wrong. Don't attack me, Spence. I'm sure he said this though. It wouldn't shock him if Francis Ngannou knocked down or knocked out Tyson Fury. It would shock me. It would be one hell of a shock. I give Francis Ngannou a 5% chance of beating Tyson Fury. And the only reason I even give him that much of a chance is because this is heavyweight boxing. Heavyweight boxing, and Francis Ngannou is massive. I mean, this guy has to boil down to make the 265-pound heavyweight limit in the UFC. That's the limit. You can't be higher than 265. He has to boil down to make that. He's obviously not as tall as Fury, but he's not going to get bullied, and he's not going to be intimidated going in the ring with Fury. Like, he's not going to be scared at all. Like, I almost feel like some fighters that fight Fury immediately, because of Fury's size, are on the back foot. Like, I remember Dillian Whyte. I felt like Dillian Whyte was a bit, not scared, but a bit apprehensive to kind of engage. Ngannou will engage. Ngannou will engage. And look, let's play devil's advocate here for a second. What's easier for Fury, fighting a boxer or fighting a guy that can't really box? So there is almost the unpredictability of fighting someone like Ngannou who can't really box. You don't know what he's going to do next. Like, maybe even Ngannou don't. So there is a bit of that. Whereas if Fury was fighting just a boxer that was ranked in and around the top 20, top 30, Fury would fight him like he fought Tom Schwartz. It'll be like that. He'll be mucking about. He'll be on the ropes because he can kind of read what a Tom Schwartz, and I say Tom Schwartz, I'm thinking of a top 30 guy, what he can read what a Tom Schwartz light is going to do. Like, Fury is that skilled and that good, he can read it. He knows when you're going to throw a jab because he can just look at you and see it. With Ngannou, I'm not joking, the punches come from all over the place. Like, the windmills are out here, and so there is that kind of unpredictability of what Ngannou is going to do, what he's going to look like. There isn't much tape to go on. There will be some sparring session tapes that I'm guessing could be dug up, but there is the unpredictability of fighting a guy and the fear factor of fighting a guy that can hit as hard as Ngannou can hit, who is not intimidated, who is fresh. There is no damage on this guy in terms of taking punches. Okay, I've moved to 10%. I've convinced myself I've moved to 10%. But look, I mean, as much as we've all dug this fight, and it's happened now. I'm not going to dig Tyson Fury for fighting him now because it's happening. I am intrigued. I'm intrigued, and I'm going to watch it, and we'll do a live watch along if I'm not out there for it, which I don't think I will be. But yeah, I give him a 10% chance of causing Fury some problems. Again, I was more intrigued about Francis Ngannou fighting Deontay Wilder. That was the one for me that I was like, ooh. Because for me, Deontay Wilder isn't a great boxer. Like, I don't look at Deontay Wilder and think, my God, this technique is incredible. I don't. And it would just be a straight shootout. Because Wilder can be very reckless as well when he's going for the kill. Look, he's 1-2 down the pipe is incredible. It is. It's so fast. It's incredible. But the other part of his boxing ain't great. So that would have been more intriguing. But look, yeah, back to it. I give Francis Ngannou a 10% chance. That's what I give him. AJ wishes he had linked up with Derek James much earlier in his career. Why? That's so interesting. I think I've seen a few quotes from AJ, and I'm not quite sure what's going on here. I'm not sure if he needs to, like, when I read that, it almost sounds like a dig at Rob McCracken. AJ needs to understand he became unified heavyweight champ with Rob McCracken. He won his belts back with Rob McCracken. Like he got to the top of the mountain, the summit, with Rob McCracken. So Derek James, let's see. Let's see what Derek James can do, because so far Derek James had to get him ready for Jermaine Franklin. Rob McCracken could have done that. Robert Garcia could have done that. Let's see how good Derek James is when AJ has to step up against the very best. Then we'll see the difference. Like even Dillian White, Rob McCracken could have done that. Rob McCracken did do that. So we'll see. But I hope AJ isn't indirectly taking digs at Rob McCracken by always applauding Derek James. Do you know? I hope that's not the case. Frank Martin does not believe that Artem, whose surname I can't pronounce, fight was particularly close. Then Frank needs to watch that fight again. It's that simple. Watch it again. Don't be that guy. Watch it again, because that fight was close. It was very, very close. And you won it on the final round. You won it on the final round. So maybe you need to watch that again, and maybe there's a few things to work on, because that fight was very close. I did see, very quickly, I saw that there was a rematch clause put into the Fury and Ngannou fight. I'm not going to have a dig at Fury, because I think that a lot of boxers just have their team sort these things out. Like most boxers, I would like to think that Fury is the captain of his ship, but I also think that people make decisions on his behalf. A bit like when the AJ White rematch clause was removed, and AJ was like, remove it then. I think Fury's, maybe they had to put that in to get the fight signed, but I have no idea why there'll be a rematch clause in a fight which is basically an exhibition fight, and the WBC belt is not on the line. Why rematch him if he loses? Like, surely Fury's not scared of losing to Ngannou. I don't know. Or maybe you have it in there just for precaution. Anything could happen. A cut. Anything could happen, so you have it in there. So I'm not going to dig out Fury for that at all, but did find it a bit weird that I saw it there. Natasha Jonas not worried about Clarissa Shields warning. Who is she knocked out? Let's be honest. Easy, Tash. I love you, Tasha. I do love Tasha Jonas, but this is a step too far. Clarissa Shields is a step too far for Tasha Jonas. Look, Tasha has done incredibly well, going up to 154. She won a belt recently at 147, or 147. But Clarissa Shields is the GOAT. She is. She's just incredible. She's incredible, and she does have pop. She throws a lot of punches and bunches to the point where I don't think she sits down on her shots enough to really give that knockout power. But she's a big, strong girl. Like, she's big, I've met Clarissa, really big thighs, big back, strong girl. Too much for Tasha. I would love to look. It maybe is a bit late for Tasha, and she's smart. She's preserving her career by moving up the weight classes, because I guess the older you get, it's difficult to cut the weight. But I would love to see her get in that 135, 140 mix if she can make that weight, because I think there's some really good fights out there for her at 140 or 135. Anything else? George Kambosos is this week. George Kambosos versus Maxi Hughes is this week. We'll do a preview video for that. I do love both guys. I'm a big fan of Kambosos. I think the way in which he promoted and pushed himself after the Teofimo Lopez win. I mean, this guy pushed himself so much that he got a stadium fight against Devin Haney in Australia twice. It was the second fight in arena. But look, they're both them big numbers, and that's because he put himself out there. He lost those fights, but no shame in that. There's no shame losing to Devin Haney at all. There will be a shame in losing to Maxi Hughes, because I know he thinks he's above that. And the winner of a Maxi Hughes unlocks him to have other fights. Like, he wants a Gervonta Davis fight. The lightweight division, again, look, we just spoke about Andy Cruz and Frank Martin, George Kambosos, Maxi Hughes. The lightweight division honestly has about 10 names. 10 names in it, which stacked, man. It's stacked. This I like. We'll end on this one very quickly. Rolly Romero, let's fuck up Ohara Davis and then Ryan Garcia next. Have to deal with his bitch ass. That's good, because they are going to purse split, Rolly Romero and Ohara Davis. I spoke to Lee Eaton, who manages Ohara Davis, And there is a bit of a concern that Rolly Romero could just vacate and they have to then fight someone else for the vacant title. The concern, remember, it's not just about winning the belt, it's about making money doing it. And you fight Rolly Romero, there's more intrigue, more eyes on the prize. So hopefully, now Rolly has said this, it looks like we could get Rolly versus Ohara. Ohara will have to travel, not a problem. And he'll make some money. And he beats, Ohara talks as well, This is the funny thing. Ohara chats some shit. So they will go back and forth throughout the presser, the weigh-in, in the fight. It'll be an intriguing fight. But I think Ohara Davis can beat Rolly Romero and then he's world champion. And then he maybe gets a chance against Ryan Garcia. Like, his name's now in there. Good luck to him, man. Good luck to Ohara Davis. It's been a tough journey for him, but I love it. Peace and love.